All birds can fly, and pigeons can fly. Therefore, pigeons are birds. If you think that this argument is logically sound, you just fall a victim of belief bias. If you analyze this argument carefully, what you realize that its conclusion doesn't follow from its premises. Only because pigeons can fly, it doesn't automatically make them birds. There are other animals and insects that can fly too. If you look at this argument even closer, you'll realize that very first premise of this argument is wrong, because not all birds can fly. There are some flightless birds, like penguins or kiwi or ostriches. They're all birds, but they don't fly. This is an example that illustrates how belief bias influences our thinking. Oftentimes, distinction is drawn between positive and negative belief bias. Positive belief bias causes people to accept arguments that are logically unsound and conclusions that are wrong only because they align with their pre-existing beliefs. On the other hand, we've got negative belief bias, which causes people to reject the conclusion of an argument even though the argument itself is logically sound and conclusion is true, only because it contradicts with their pre-existing beliefs. So what is causing a belief bias? Over the years, there's been a number of different theories trying to explain how belief bias actually works. The one that I would like to focus on today is a dual process theory. According to dual process theory, humans have two systems of thinking, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is unconscious, it's fast, it makes use of mental shortcuts, but it's a bit sloppy. But we can rely on it most of the time. On the other hand, we've got System 2, which is intentional, more calculated. It's usually more accurate, but it's slow and requires lots of effort. According to this theory, the reason why belief bias affects us is because we over-rely on our System 1. And when System 1 is in operation, it's not as accurate. There are also a number of different factors that will affect to what degree we'll be affected by belief bias. Things like our age, our religious beliefs, our working memory capacity, and our general cognitive abilities play a crucial role in the way belief bias affects us. The times when we are most likely to fall a victim of belief bias is when we engage in emotionally charged conversation, when we discuss controversial topics like gun control, climate change, abortion, vaccines. Any situation when our emotional buttons are being pushed is going to lead to a belief bias. Imagine that politically, you're a strong believer of abortion. You're being told that until child is born, cannot be considered a child. It's still a fetus. Therefore, women should have a right to abort a fetus even in a 9 month of pregnancy, because this is their body and their choice. In that situation, all you hear is your body, your choice. And at that point, instead of carefully analyzing the premises of the argument and potential morality of the argument, you're quick to accept that this argument is valid and it's sound because it reinforces your current system of beliefs. So I guess the question is, what can you do to avoid belief bias? The very first step to avoid belief bias is to learn what it is and how it affects us. Think about in what situations and in what way this bias will likely affect you. Keep this bias in mind, especially when you engage in emotionally charged discussion, when you talk about controversial things. In situations like that, our mind has a tendency to use our System 1, which is fast and is reliable most of the time, but unfortunately in situations like that, it can cloud our judgment and it can cloud our ability to reason logically. And lastly, slow down your thinking. Slow down your reasoning. This is the only way that we can think logically. And that way, you're less likely to get carried away by your emotions. Remember that when you engage in a conversation like that, it's not a battle. It's an argument. We're all trying to get to the same thing. We're all trying to get to truth. If you lasted that long, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. If you're interested in other biases, you may want to consider either that video or that one. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, signing off.